Hey guys, how you doing today? So, welcome to something new. We're starting, which is a mentee series. I have a group of one-on-one business owners that I've been mentoring over the years, and so I decided to start a mentee series with them. I feel one, it will help promote their business. People get to know who they are, what they do more. Two, it will also help other people to learn from them what they themselves have been learning in some of our sessions, so they may choose to share some of the insightful strategies that has really helped them. But as you're joining, tell me your name and the city you're joining me from. Okay, your name and the city you're joining me from. Okay, let me get to know. I have Abuja. Can you mentor me? Okay, that's not how it works. Um, yeah, okay, so it's good to be here, and I want to thank a lot of the mentees who I would like them to, by the way, send their invite. If send your invite, Ada, I think I've seen you. You need to send an invite for me to pull you up. So as you're joining me, tell me your name and the city you're joining me from. Let me get to see Emmanuel from Lagos. Welcome. Stanley, Dr. Stanley is my boss. Okay, good to know that. Who else is here? So tell me your name and the city you're joining me from. Okay, your name and the city you are joining me from. Before we get into the class, like I said, this session is an interview session with some of my mentees. It's an opportunity for people to know them, know the business they do. It's also a platform for them to share some of the things they've learned in the course of Vincent from Nasarawa, Adragbemi from Lagos, Akimumi from Ondo. Welcome, welcome. Hey, we have our first guest today. How are
Good
you?
evening. Good evening, Dr. Steven. I'm very well, thank you. Thank you
Good
for having
evening.
me.
You're
Mhm.
welcome. You're welcome. It's good to see you. Is this the first time you're doing IG Live?
I used to be very big on IG Live 2021, 22, but then I took a break. Business got real and serious around. But then I'm happy that I'm doing it again. It's been a long time, basically.
Nice, nice.
Mm.
Okay. Welcome, welcome. Good to have you here.
Thank
Um,
you.
For those of you joining us, Adama is one of my mentees. She won, I think her session was, she won it in we were giving 40 people free one-on-one mentorship and she won. But I'd like you to introduce yourself, what you do. Your business is a very unique one. So let's let everybody get to meet you.
Okay, so my name is Adama Ugu, and I lead the team at High Prep. At High Prep, what we do is we're personalizing K-12 education for kids in Africa through bite-sized lessons led by expert tutors, and even most recently, a smart AI tutor as well. Um, yeah, so like I said, I lead the team at High Prep, and this is basically what we do from a desire to help kids learn better. I used to be a mathematics teacher across various parts of the country. I've actually taught, different parts of the country. And then from that desire to help kids learn better, because, I'm seeing that a lot of kids are stuck in classrooms, not able to catch up, right, with where the teacher is at, and not because like they don't have the potential to, but mostly because the system was not designed to meet them where they are. And that was what birthed High Prep, with a desire to help kids personalize learning and basically meet kids where they are and continue to help them to learn the way that they love to learn.
So I'm curious, this business of yours,
Mhm.
your background is in teaching. What did you study in the university?
I studied computer education. University of Nigeria in Nsukka. Yes. Don't know if
Okay.
I have any alumni in your fellow alumni. Yes, but yes.
So from there, so Unsuka, and then did you then teach, and what brought you to Lagos?
Okay, so I'm currently based in Abuja. Just to clarify, I do my work
Mm.
from here in Abuja. Um,
Okay.
so yes, when I left though, because I studied education, when I left, of course I gambled into my first career was actually in the bank. I did that for a couple of years, 3 years, and then I left. I'm like, I need to go and teach. Applied in a school, I got the job, and like I said, I saw the problem firsthand that, I am today solving. But even before that time, I was also raised by teachers, right? And my both parents were teachers. There was something my dad did for me, like when I was struggling with maths as well in school. He would always like have me every day after school engage me with questions, right? And in trying to answer or respond to his questions, I realized how much he helped me learn, right? And how much it helped me catch up and within like a very short period. So when I encountered that problem, the first time I encountered it was just the year before my NYC year. I was teaching at Niger State. I was teaching the kids, the children in year 11, that's SS2. I was teaching them math. And I realized that some of the kids there were performing at like basic math, like things that I would think that a year 3 child or year 4 child would know, they didn't know it. So on my own, I started to do like free sessions for them after school. Because my dad was principal then, and so after school, every day around 4 p.m., I would go back to the class, and then I started to do like free one-on-one sessions for them. You know, and
So
yeah,
this
I did
was
that.
your dad. This was your dad's school.
Yes, he was the principal of the school at the time. Yes, he
Okay.
was the principal of the school. Yeah, so they just got me in as a PTA staff,
Yeah.
right? So I was doing that, extra classes for them, very similar to what my dad did for me as well, right? When I was in school, it was very
Mm.
similar to that. Did that, and then I just saw how much personal support kids needed, and continue to need. But then that's not how the traditional school system was designed, right?
Mhm.
So I mean, a few years later, I was now teaching in school again. I encountered the same thing. There's
So
always that
wait, this
child.
was
Yes,
after banking. So
yes,
you worked in a bank for a while, then you moved
yes,
back to teaching.
just exactly,
So what made you to leave
exactly.
banking for teaching?
Well, I think at the end of the day, it was just me running to my first love, my calling, right? Teaching is something that I would do for free because of how much I enjoy doing it.
Hmm.
Would I do banking for free? I don't think so. I don't think I would do banking for free. Banking, I didn't get that job satisfaction from the job I
Yeah.
was doing at the bank. And so, I just made the decision like, hey, it's time to move. And then I left. And this time around, it was more of an urban school. It was a school in Abuja. It was a private school, right? The first school was a federal government school, and you could describe the area as rural because it was somewhere in a village in Niger State. But this one is in town, and the problem is just very similar, right? It's very similar.
Mhm.
There are still kids, right? That you're teaching. I mean, these parents are paying a lot of money. I'm talking about millions of naira, and yet the system is still not able to meet them where they are.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you something, Dr. Steven. At this point, I was also a mom. I had given birth to my own child. And it was now me thinking about the situation from the point of view of, if this was my child, would I
Hmm.
be happy that my child is coming to school and is struggling this much? And the child is struggling, the system is not able to help them. So it's not about the teachers not being passionate. A lot of teachers actually do their job with a lot of passion. A lot of teachers can actually take on free hours and teach for free. But the problem is the system was not designed that way. School
Hmm.
has to close, right? Children have to come to school, school has to close. There are more than 20 children in class, or
Yeah.
15
Very
children
true.
in class.
Yeah.
Exactly. And lessons have to take place.
Hmm.
Teacher have to record, oh, I have taught and I have completed the syllabus. So it's not, something that the teachers did wrong. Okay, but
Hmm.
it's just the system.
So at that point, you then decide to start a whole
Mm-hmm.
different program.
Mm-hmm.
Was by the way, what's the handle of your and
Okay, it's
explain to
at
us what you guys do.
okay. So it's at High Prep Online, High Prep Hi,
Can you
like hello
spell
hi,
I
hello hi,
prep?
HI Prep
Mhm.
PREP, and then online, High Prep Online. Yes.
One word.
Yes, one word. One word.
Okay.
So talking about what we do, the first thing that we do when a child comes to us is we try to know where the child really is at based on each subject. Now, something that you can never rule out is the fact that a child could be in year three, but performing math at a year two level, right? And performing English at a year three level or even year four level. And maybe science at a year three level. It just varies, like I said, right? And so we use this thing we call a baseline assessment to kind of tell roughly where we think this child is, right? And we
Okay.
term that exactly, we term that a level. We don't use year group. We don't say, oh, you're in year four in math or you're in year three in math. We could say you're at level three in math, right? And you're at level five in English. So
Mm.
when we do that, we create a path for you, a study path for you. When that is done, that study path is transferred to our teachers. We have over 150 teachers right now in our pool, in our teacher community, yes. And so we hand the child over to a teacher assigned to dedicated to them. And what do? They take classes. Periodically the child takes another test just to like gauge, okay, so far where am I based on the goals that's been set for me from the initial time. Yeah,
Mm.
so that's what we do. And even if it's an exam that the child is preparing for, we also tailor the study plan to suit the exams, right? Currently, we've worked with kids in Nigeria, we've worked with kids in the UK, we've worked with kids living in USA, we've worked with kids living in Canada, in you name it, in Saudi Arabia, in
Why,
Egypt.
why
It's
do you
exactly.
why do kids outside of Africa still engage in your program?
So, because I think the need is universal, right? These kids are going to classes where there are a lot of kids, right? They don't have that personal attention. They don't have their personal needs being met,
Mm.
right? And then we're offering you the service of, hey, we can meet you where you are and we
Yeah.
can take you to where you ought to be, right?
Mm.
I think it's
Mm.
universal. Like the story I told you about the guys in
Yeah.
the rural area and the guys in the
Yeah.
urban area. It's apart from the fact that one of this category is, they have like a tattered classroom, there's no AC, blah, blah, blah. These other guys have AC, they have well
And
nurtured
yet they are
teachers.
still
The
struggling. Yeah.
problems exactly are very similar. Hmm.
Wow. Interesting and well done what you're doing. Can we all celebrate her, guys? Come on. I again I tell people we don't realize this in Africa,
Hmm.
but we must celebrate entrepreneurship. The
Hmm.
solution to Africa's problem is entrepreneurship.
Hmm.
Like, I mean, what we just described now, not only are you changing the lives of these kids, there are teachers in your program who are now able to earn extra income. You
Exactly.
know,
Hmm.
there are a lot of other admin staff working with you who now have a source of living because your business exists. And until we start seeing businesses like that, which is part of my frustration, a lot of us don't see businesses the way we should in Africa. When we hear somebody is a businessman, in our mind, don't mind them thieves, don't mind them, rather than see the value chain that these
Yes.
businesses create jobs. They're human beings whose life changed because
Hmm.
this business exists. The business may not be perfect, it may not solve all the problems. The
Exactly.
company may have its own challenges, but either way, either way, there are lives. Okay. So there are a lot of lives that are changed because of those businesses existing, and
Mm-hmm.
we must change the narrative in Africa of how
Absolutely.
we see businesses, of encouraging, and it's hard to be an entrepreneur. And we're going to have that
Very
conversation
hard.
very soon.
Very hard.
We're gonna have that
Very hard.
conversation, but let me bring in
Mm-hmm.
my second guest. You can still stay on the line. So
Okay.
what I want to do is the first version is you guys just introducing yourself. Then second
Okay.
version, I'll start throwing general questions that is in line with that is general to all of you that I'm bringing on board today. So,
Okay.
guys, those of you join, this is a new series that I'm doing with my one-on-one mentees, and it's just on bringing entrepreneurs, getting
Mm-hmm.
to know about their businesses, what they do, and we learning together how they started the business, what solution they are providing, but also how they are evolving and some of the things they are learning uh,
Mm-hmm.
with the mentorship they are doing with me, and how that has helped. Indirectly, you will also be able to pick a few things, even if you don't have that one-on-one access to me. You'll be able to pick a few things in terms of the adjustment they're making their businesses as a result of the opportunity for the one-on-one mentorship. So, Michael is my next guest. Michael, can you accept? Um, I have sent invite to Michael. Michael, it says you are not able to join, so you might want to follow me. Um, Michael, you may want to follow me if you are not following me yet, and then accept, and then send the request again. I'll also try and see to be sure I'm following you. But while I'm trying to get Michael on to join, do you
Mm-hmm.
care to share um, for you the satisfaction, what gives you joy when you
Mm-hmm.
finally started this business? What aspect of it really gives you joy?
Joy. Okay, I think it would be the impact that we are creating both in the lives of the students and also for the tutors. Talking about the students, I had this instance where a parent reached out to me. I think it was around June, and her request was, "Hey, I'm looking to." My son is writing an exam next month, and I'm just looking for someone to prepare him for the exams. I said to her that okay, that's fine. We're happy to place, I said something about placing her child on a consistent study routine. And she reiterated and said, no, I'm not interested. I just want you to prepare my child for an exam and I'm done. Right? And we're like, okay, fine. That's okay. Let's prepare your child for the exam. And then we did this prep for the child for just a month, just like a 1 month period before his exams. And he wrote the exams and he smashed it. He did so well. And the woman comes back and she says, "Hey, okay, now I'm interested in that consistent prep that you mentioned. How much does it now cost? And I just need it for maths. I only want maths." And we go ahead and we put her on the consistent prep for maths. And then she comes back, I think like 2 weeks later. "Hey, do you guys also do English?" And I'm like, "Yes, ma'am." She goes ahead and increases her subscription and pays for English. And she comes back again 2 weeks later. "Did you guys also do science?" And this is what we kept on doing. And currently she has her child on 6 subjects. And every single time that you ask her how is it going, I think the last feedback she got from us, she was like, "My son scored an A plus in math, did an A plus in chemistry, did an A plus in," and then she was just all thankful to us. When I hear things like that, it makes me genuinely happy. Happy because the solution that I, dreamt about, I felt like this can actually help kids, it's working. And I'm happy that I put these things in the hands of tutors, like people, and I said, "Hey, let's work together." If it was only me, it was going to be hard to reach this
Yeah,
amount of kids. And
yeah,
I was going to be like worked out. So it was good that we're able to work with teachers, train them. You mentioned that entrepreneurship is not easy. I feel
yeah,
like that's the conversation I want to have because I cannot stop talking about the frustrations and the things that I have seen in business, that sometimes I'm like, who sends me? Like, should be I would have just been in someone's job, and But then, when I think about this other sides, this other good things that are happening, I'm just so thankful that I made that decision.
Yeah.
So yeah, that impact in terms of learning outcomes, but it's not just learning outcomes. I have another note about a teacher reached out to me sometime in December, and he was so grateful. He said to me that he was so frustrated when he left Lagos to Abuja as a teacher. He gave me a whole long story, and he said how he was teaching and was not doing up to 70,000 naira. He also said how he he wasn't doing up to 70,000 naira, and then he decided to stop and start doing home tutoring, home lessons. But those home lessons were not consistent. So it's like this month he has like 100K. The next month nothing for him. He was just not consistent with his salaries. But then, ever since he joined High Prep, that he has been consistently doing 400K every month. And he was so thankful and praying for our business and praying for us and saying, would continue to grow and grow. That impact, again, on the side of the teachers makes me genuinely happy. Happy that I'm able to create like jobs for these teachers. I'm also able to create something very consistent. I think he ended his notes by saying that his neighbors think that he's into Yahoo because he's always inside on his computer. So that for me is a lot of impact as well. But that's not all again. The trainings, the teachings, the constant upskilling of our team is also something that I find very impactful, and it makes me also very genuinely happy that I'm able to make that much impact in the lives of that much tutors. I
Mm.
hope I didn't overstay. I didn't
No,
overstay.
no, no, no. I'm enjoying this because, like I said, one of the things I'm hoping this will do is to help people start seeing entrepreneurship from a different light, whether you're an entrepreneur or you're not, and
Hmm.
begin to see what really goes into it, um,
Yes.
and begin to appreciate. I mean, imagine the story of the teacher you're talking about, just from
Hmm.
doing prep, which is not even the
Hmm.
main teaching. He's
Hmm.
making 400K, and your
Hmm.
company made that possible.
Exactly.
And that's really lives being changed. So
Hmm.
if a teacher is watching and he's saying, why are you charging 75,000 per just for prep? They
Hmm.
can see, because people don't see that behind the scene. When
Hmm.
somebody, for example, is buying, let's say, a car from a company, why is your Lexus this expensive? You are not seeing the manager
That's
that is being
what
paid. You are not
exactly.
seeing the office rent. You are not seeing the other
Hmm.
bills. You're just seeing from your angle
Perspective.
and
Hmm.
your perspective, and you could be frustrated. And many of us have been, and we need to start showing a different angle to entrepreneurship and helping people see it differently.
Hmm.
And I think this will help. But for you, what made you feel you needed mentorship? I mean, you were doing well, you have over 500 customers and so on and so
Hmm.
forth. What made you feel like, you know what? I still need a mentor? Because I've seen entrepreneurs who are like, if I am doing business, if I'm doing certain volume, I will not need any mentor. And I laugh. You hear some people say, if I'm making $20,000, I
Hmm.
don't need mentorship. I'm like,
Hmm.
the
Hmm.
reason you think you don't need mentorship is because you are not even making that kind of money.
It's
The
because you
day
actually need mentorship.
Exactly. The day you make your first $1 million, you realize why. I remember
Hmm.
somebody has a business, makes over a multi-million dollar business. And when he ran into trouble, I remember
Hmm.
saying to him, I said, so your business grew to this level and you did not know
Hmm.
that you needed to have people who are bigger than you helping
Hmm.
you and watching your back, particularly in a country like Africa,
Yes.
right? Where somebody can wake up one day and say, didn't like your face, and can set you up in a big mess. that it may be
Exactly.
so difficult to come out of.
Mm.
But why did you feel the need for mentorship?
Mentorship. Okay. Hmm. I think the answer goes back to the fact that I have very big dreams for high prep. Um, very big dreams. I remember when the dream was to hit our first 10 clients, right? We hit it, and I'm like, yeah. Now, what next? I want to hit 50. We hit it, and I'm like, yeah. And but the dream is not 50, the dream is not 100, and the dream is not 500. The dream is for us to make global impact, like to actually help millions of kids in Africa, at home, in the diaspora, anywhere, but just help them and personalize the learning. But then I remember that as we got to 500, a lot of things started to fall apart in terms of the fact that it felt like the systems that we had on ground could not handle the 500 students that we had hit,
Yeah,
right? And
yeah,
everything started to scatter. Like it was like I was running without fuel. I was tired most of the time. I was overworking myself. I was everywhere. I suddenly knew that I needed help. Right? I knew that I needed help. I needed someone like me. Sometimes I like to describe myself as someone that got into business unplanned, right? Because I didn't plan to start doing business. Even when I started teaching kids online just by myself, it was all free of charge. It was not a case of, hey, let's draw up a business plan and let's start making money. I just saw myself doing business.
which is the
Ex-
story of many entrepreneurs. Most entrepreneurs
exactly.
didn't start with business plan. It was just want to solve a
Exactly.
problem. Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. So when we got to that 500, I just knew that things were out of control and I needed guidance. And I started actively looking for guidance. At some point, I didn't even mind paying for mentorship. So when I saw your own, for me, I felt like it was a huge opportunity. Like I felt like God was just hearing my prayer and He was, putting things in place for to help me and to guide me. And but if you notice, I feel like I might have been the first person to apply because I rushed it. The way I rushed it, it showed that I really needed it. Yes.
Yeah. Funny
Mm-hmm.
enough, there were many applicants. We couldn't take all,
Oh, okay.
but you made
Mm-hmm.
it.
Mm-hmm.
You made,
Mm-hmm.
you made it. We couldn't take all.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I wish we
Mm-hmm.
could take as many
More.
as, but we can't. I don't even have the time to be able
Mm-hmm.
to take everyone.
So it was just God showing up for me.
Exactly. It was those of you who got in, you know, God
Mm-hmm.
really wanted you to be in. But
Mm-hmm.
what was the biggest shocker when we had our first session for you?
Mm-hmm.
What was your biggest shocker? Like
Okay.
that thing that, you know,
Mm-hmm.
punched you in the face in our first meeting.
Mm-hmm. So the very first thing that you said to me, or you asked me, and I couldn't give you like a specific response or a specific answer. I remember you said, how much revenue did you make last month? Right? And I couldn't tell you exactly how much we made last month. And immediately you just identified like a, will I call it a lacuna, like something, a gap immediately. And you said to me, go and employ an accountant. You cannot lead without data. I can't remember how you said it, but something around that. Like there's no way I'm leading, or I'm doing a business and I don't know my figures. Like I should have it here. And truly, since I started doing business, apart from when we were few, like when our students were just like 50 and below, I could literally just tell, okay, we are doing this amount every year, every month. But as we started to grow, like I said to you, because that growth happened really fast, in a space of 6 months, we had moved from six.
Good evening. Yeah.
Good
So go ahead.
evening.
Adam, go
In a space of 6 months, we had moved from 2 digits to like 3 digits, and it happened fast. Immediately that happened, lost track of everything. Like I said to you earlier, like everything scattered. I lost track of everything. I'm not able to keep track. It was like I was playing catch up on my business. I was constantly playing catch up. And so when you said that to me, I knew that that was the problem. Exactly. I needed to know what my numbers are, and I needed to know it at the flip of a finger. I shouldn't be thinking or guessing. That's how I'm able to tell if we're even growing in the first place. To me,
Yeah.
that meant it all. And I left that meeting. I went straight to my HR lead, and I'm like, "Hey, we need an accountant. Put out a notice immediately." And that took a process a while. And then, but currently, we have an accountant on our team. Yeah.
Mm, beautiful. Michael finally made it. So, Michael, sometimes if you don't delete your app and have the latest version of Instagram, it could lead to that. I'm sure after you deleted and restore, it finally
Yes,
worked.
sir.
Welcome. How are you?
Fine, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Sir, you're a genius in everything, not just mentorship, practically everything, something about everything.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure about that, but thank you for the compliment. So, introduce
No.
yourself, Michael. What's your name? What's your background? What did you study? And how did you start your company?
Okay, sir. My name is Michael Ojogu. From Delta State, Nigeria. Studied human anatomy in the University of Delta State University, human anatomy. And while I was in my final year, when I was about rounding up, I got to a point where when I went for IT, and one of the things that struck me about transiting into real estate was when I was doing my IT. I was one of the best students, and I got to where I did my IT, and a lot of staff in the hospital were talking down on the course I studied, and that gave me reason to evaluate whether I was really on the right path, studying human anatomy. And also, I had passion for real estate before then. So I saw that as an opportunity to venture into real estate as a final year student. And 2020, when I graduated for school, I registered my company in Eminence Global Property. And when I moved to Lagos, I began acquisition of properties. That is my background, sir. Thank you, sir.
So, why real estate? Why did you join real estate?
Okay, so one of the major reasons why I joined real estate was why growing up, real estate was what I saw my dad doing. My dad was a trader, he was a businessman, but I noticed at some point he was not really focused about the trade. The major source of income then was real estate. My dad usually acquire properties, then as little as 50,000, 100,000, and I found that after years selling these properties for up to a million naira, 2 million naira, and thereabout. So I saw it as a profit business, a very profitable business compared to other business. Besides that, I also saw real estate as me being able to provide housing solution to people. I saw it as okay, this is something that when I do, I am not just making profit from it. I'm also solving a problem for people
Mm,
because I entered real estate as more of trying to provide affordable real estate solution for people. So I just wanted to be able to provide affordable real estate to people. So those were one of the motivation that brought me into real estate, sir.
wow. So, how did you then get to hear about me and my mentorship? And why did you feel you needed mentorship?
Yes, sir. From 2022, two of the people I've followed majorly was Grant Cardone and yourself, sir. And I've been watching you over since 2022, 2023, and I've seen how you have grown into a global figure. And I really wanted someone that will mentor me to be someone global because my thought about real estate is not just doing real estate in Nigeria. I wanted somebody that had this doing real estate on a global scale to be my mentor. And December of January 2025, I saw your mentorship program online and I decided to apply. Luckily enough, to the glory of God, I was selected, and it has been an amazing journey. Every session I'm having with him, my heart is always beating. What does don't want to ask me today? Does he want to ask me how much I've made? Does he want to ask me if I've implemented what we discussed the last time? So it has really been an amazing journey having someone that I'm accountable to, having somebody that can ask me down to the figures of my
Mm-hmm.
business, down to how much I'm spending in the business, down to what is our savings as a business. It has really
Mm-hmm.
been an amazing journey, sir. Thank you, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So for you, in our first session, and I've asked Adama the same question, what was the first question that shocked you that you didn't expect me to ask you?
The first question that shocked me that I didn't really expect, or I think, was when you asked about accounting, whether we have an accountant in our business. That was the first question, because you were asking about figures, and I had to go and be checking, oh, how much we made and how much we did not make. So it was really shocking when you told me, okay, do you have an accountant in your organization? And I said no, and you started giving me counsel of that. So that was really what stood out for me in the session, sir.
Mm-hmm.
So it seems both of you had the same problem. Will you say that most business owners struggle with this accounting thing? And why do you think that is a major challenge for business owners?
Yes, I would say most business owners struggle with not just accounting, employing professionals, because we have this idea that if we employ overqualified people, they are going to be taking a major chunk of the profit of the business. So most times, what we are looking at is getting people that are not experienced, that can, you can pay something, just something there. We really don't want to pay so much on employing people. So accounting
Um,
is one of them, but we really, most business owners don't want to pay so much. They don't want to pay so much running their business, because we are looking at minimizing cost of operations, sir.
mm. So, and you think that's the reason why businesses struggle, in your opinion?
Yes, sir. That is the reason, one of the reasons why business struggles. There are two things that have stood out for me. One of
Mhm.
our sessions, when we had, you were talking, when I told you the number of staffs I had, like, you are paying this much. And in another section, you're like, you need to get this person. So it's more about the balance. That is what I think business people struggle. Knowing
Yeah.
when they are overspending on the business or over hiring, and knowing when they need to hire the right people. So I think the struggle for business owners like me is knowing the right people to hire, not just hiring, but knowing
Mhm.
what your business needs at that point in time. That is one of
Mhm.
the problem I think business owners face, sir.
Wow. But so I've heard, let's not get into entrepreneurship proper. And Adama can pick this up again. So it's just a
Mm-hmm.
general question, and any one of us can answer. Why do you think that Africans do not celebrate entrepreneurship? You know, um, there's always that mindset of entrepreneurs are ripping us off, right?
Mm-hmm.
Up until recently, and I think that one was because of NNPC. A lot of people didn't like Dangote. Oh, he's charging too much for cement. He's charging too much for flour. He's charging too much for this, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he was able to shine with petrol because there was an NNPC that people didn't like, and NNPC seems to be more expensive than him.
Mm-hmm.
But typically, you see people, no matter what anybody does, there is just this resentment for extremely successful entrepreneurs. Why do you think that exists?
Mm-hmm. Okay. So what I think that's at play there is totally just a lack of knowledge, right? And where does that lack of knowledge come from? Even as entrepreneurs, sometimes we struggle to actually understand the real value of what we are providing, right?
Mhm.
And because we don't even understand the real value of what we're providing, we even underprice, undercharge,
Absolutely.
Exactly. Now, but while we don't even understand, guess what? The guys outside, they do not understand times 10. So for example, if I'm selling real estate, if for example I'm selling, let me talk about myself before I go to real estate. Now we're selling education, right? We have packaged a personal education that meets every child where they are. And we are liberating kids from the lack of confidence that a lot of kids would grow up into if they continue to get rejected. Oh, sorry, this just continue to get like no attention from their school. A lot
Mm-hmm.
of kids who grow up with zero confidence. And what does a lack of confidence do to a child? A lack of confidence means that a lot of opportunities would pass you by, right? A lot of opportunities in life would pass you by. It's possible for you to start struggling from school and literally
Yeah.
struggle your entire life.
Yeah.
Now, because people are not seeing this value for what it is, they just think, oh, it's not just math. It's not just English. It's not just physics. Oh, I have my textbook. I can go and read. That's the same way people are seeing his business as, oh, it's not just house. But what will a lack of a house do to you? You're not thinking about it.
Yeah.
Even to get the right spouse. Sometimes if you're not living in a cool place, you can't even get a good spouse. you know you can't even find wife. But we're being real here. So because that
Yeah.
people do not understand the real value behind some of the things that we sell,
Yeah.
right? They now feel like they just quantify it generally and say, hey, it's not just this thing or it's not just that thing. There is that one. There's also the part where there are a lot of bad eggs, right, in the basket.
Mm.
And Africa has been known for those bad eggs a lot more. Because why? Because our challenges are very unique to us. We know our challenges,
Mm-hmm.
right? We know that a lot of guys are living below standard means. Like, I mean, a lot of people are living below what is acceptable for a human being. And right, so a lot of people could gamble into business. Like, there is no deep passion. It's just, let's go and look for something that can give us money. Yeah, maybe if they sell this book, we can be getting money, right?
Yeah.
And there's no real passion in it. And so there are a lot of guys that I would term the bad eggs that are mixed with the good eggs. And so because of those bad eggs, people have experienced bad businesses, people have experienced things that are not cool. And so when you come with your own, you have to really prove to them that you are the standout person or you are the outlier, right?
Mm.
And I think for me, like I said, it all just boils down to lack of knowledge. Like, we just need to keep educating, even as business owners. Some of the things that you have to do for your community is to continue to educate, continue to teach. And one last thing I would also like to mention is the impact. So I know that business is not all about making profits. Some of us
Yeah.
are. Exactly. While we are making profits, what about the purpose behind the business, right? We
Mm-hmm.
come from Africa. There are a lot of people living below standard, minimum wage. People are
Mm-hmm.
struggling, right?
Mm-hmm.
As much as possible, while our business is growing, it's also very important that we, give back to the society, because this is the society where we are all growing and raising our kids. It's just like what you're
Mm-hmm.
doing, Dr. Stephen.
Yeah.
If not that you gave back, I wouldn't be here today.
Mm.
And there is no limit to what you're doing for me and for us can take me to. And
Yeah.
if I get to that length
Yeah.
that I'm supposed to get to by virtue of this mentorship, ideally I should also look back and give back. As we continue
Mm.
to educate our people and help each other, people would continue to grow. And you see that whole, oh, this one's just want to read people. It would gradually just leave our society. That's what I think.
Mm. Powerful. Powerful. Michael, you want to add to that?
Yes, sir. So, like she said, on one of the issues is lack of knowledge, and also apart from lack of knowledge, I think one of the issues again is the issue of not offering value. Um, Most of entrepreneurs, one of the issues that affects a lot of entrepreneurs is not keeping to their words. So we see people that, oh, even though they are very big in the space, they are not keeping to their word. So there's already this mirage around a lot of entrepreneurs that this entrepreneur cannot keep to his word. As far as he's successful, he's doing something, he's
Mm-hmm.
making money through illegal means. So it's already an issue clouding the
Yeah.
mentality of a lot of people. Yes, sir.
Mm.
So I think beyond just lack of knowledge, there need to be more sensitization that, oh, entrepreneurship first of all can give you money, and also being able those in the entrepreneurship space should not be sensitized that, okay, don't just do entrepreneurship for profit purpose. Be sure you keep to your words and be sure you deliver value to people. By the time these two things are being put in place, I think the whole issue about criticizing entrepreneurs and all that
Mm-hmm.
will really be minimized, sir.
Beautiful. What, in your own opinion, looking at, I mean, even though you are still new in my mentorship program,
Mm-hmm.
how how big is the loss when you don't really have mentorship as an entrepreneur? From your analysis, because you can easily analyze and say where you were without my mentorship and now that you have my mentorship, I'm minding the fact that many people are in that shoes. A huge number of people are struggling with mentorship. Nobody's mentoring them. They're just doing business. And, like Adama said, most of us didn't write business plan. We just stumble into it. We just want to solve a problem
Mm-hmm.
or
Yes,
one
sir.
thing or the other. Life brought us into becoming an entrepreneur.
Mm-hmm.
So from your view, how big is the disadvantage when you lack a business mentor?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, sir. Let me start from the disadvantage. I think the disadvantage will now point out the advantage. One of the things before I joined this whole mentorship is there was no accountability in my business. I could practically do anything, and nobody was holding me accountable. I felt like I was more of like in my business. I really didn't have someone there to cancel, to meet for counseling, and at some point it really had adverse effect on my business. Lack of accountability from having one issue in the business to we got to that point that sales was not coming in. In short, the point we had the first session, that day I had to stay back in my office because I really was overwhelmed. Like we're almost at that rock bottom in our business when we had that first session. And through that session, two things that stood out for me: the fact that every month when I come to meet you, you are always asking, okay, what have you been able to do with the money you made? How much did you save at the end of each month? Gave me that sense of accountability. So every month, I already, the next time I meet here, I already know Dr. Steven must ask me about what I'm spending the money for the business for and how much we have in savings. So it gave me that sense of being more accountable in what we are doing. And from that, like for the past 3 months, there's no month we are not doing something new, and there's no month that at the end of the month, as a business, we don't have good savings. We are always like having enough saved for the next thing we want to achieve. Apart from the accountability part, mentorship have also opened my eyes to a lot of possibilities. It has opened my eyes. Now I see things like what is possible.
Mm-hmm.
Before now, I think what I just do is, oh, I read, I get inspired. But beyond the inspiration from just reading books, mentorship gives you like, oh, this thing is really possible. It's not really about what people wrote 20 years ago, 10 years ago. Like I'm seeing it working in the life of somebody. And that gives me that assurance that if I still listen to this mentor, also going to see all these things work in my life also. So it gives me that possibility. No, I can be big in this industry. Yes, Dr. Stephen Akintayo is big already. If I fly on his feathers, if I follow what he's telling me, I can also be big in this industry. So two major things it has given me is accountability, and two, I see more possibility.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic.
Wow.
Thank you, sir.
Yes,
Okay.
Adam.
Okay. So if I'm to pick up from what he's just said, I think that's what it is as well for me, in addition to direction. So working with you for the past 2 months has really just helped me see my business from a, like take myself out of my business and I'm seeing it from your point of view. I remember the first thing you said on my first session, and you did mention that, okay, you said I should give you like roughly what my profit margin is like, and I said to you, okay, it's so and so percentage. And you mentioned that, hey, we need to grow, we need to increase this, right? And you said to me that there are different ways that I could increase my profit margin. You gave me this, that. Before that conversation, I would have thought that I was doing well. In fact, my mindset was, if you're doing profits, you're good. After all, some startups are not even breaking even. That's how I thought about it. But that meeting actually made me understand that, hey, it's not just that you're making profits, is how much profit are you making, right?
Mm.
And you now began to give me like areas that I can improve on, to things that I could do. Like he said, you give me like all the things, added value that we can do to make our business better. The session I had last with you, I remember telling you that, I can't remember what you asked me, and I said, I feel like, and you immediately told me that business is not about feelings. And I think that's one thing that I easily fall into. Maybe as a woman, I don't know, I'm a bit of an empath. As an empath, I'm thinking about, before I do anything, I'm always thinking how the other person would receive it. And I'm literally like scared of a couple of decisions. But you said something that hits, like you were like, hey, this is business and this is not your emotions. And I needed to like separate the both, and business had to be done. And in my head, I'm thinking, how can I really apply this? And you went further. You told me some of the real decisions I need to make and how I need to be thinking about my business beyond just how I am feeling. Right. And to be honest, when I was leaving that session, I was saying to myself, this is the last time I'm using that sentence. I feel like the real question is, what needs to be done, that has to be
Mm.
Yes,
done?
sir. Mm.
Exactly. As opposed to how I'm feeling. Right. You also made me understand that if I understand the value of what I am creating, you were the one who gave me the idea of the value.
Mm.
Increasing your price at any point in time would not be a problem. The reason why you're overthinking increasing your price, because you haven't understood your value,
Mm.
right? And in my head, I'm like, yes, that's it, right? And these are some of the things that when I think about, and I'm like, if I didn't meet you, I probably would continue to feel. It will be 2026, I'm still feeling. 2027, I'm still feeling. 2028, I'm still doing a 20% profit margin. Business is just there, nothing. We're not growing. But then now I see like a growth trajectory, and I'm happy that with you, I was able to like have that direction, of what to do and what not to.
Wow. So, what would be your advice for somebody who is running their business and they don't have mentors? No business mentor whatsoever. They're just, using their head to figure it out, like you used to do. What would be your advice?
Okay. Sorry, sorry, I have to go first. All right. So my number one advice, there's this Nigerian song where they say, follow who no road, right? The truth of the matter is, at the time when your business is still young and growing, right? Fine, you can figure things out, you can think it through.
Mm.
And if you have no plans of scaling your business, continue to
Continue.
figure it out. Continue to
Exactly.
figure it out. You don't need a mentor. Okay.
Mm.
But if you know that you have plans to scale, right? You know that you have plans to grow into a multinational business, $1 million business, then figuring it out will not help you. It would not help you at all, because the higher you go, the more difficult it becomes. If you
Yeah.
think that level one was difficult, level two is like 10x more difficult. And
Mhm.
what I'm calling levels is like, I remember when I started business, the first time I was waiting for my account to hit 1 million. Dr. Steven, I was literally waiting. Like I was waiting for my account to hit 1 million. I refused to take any amount from the account, just waiting for it to hit 1 million. And I was working so hard trying to get it to hit 1 million. But then when it hit 1 million, and when it got the time that it took it to get from 1 million to 2 million was 10 times less than the time it took to get to 1 million,
Yeah.
right? And the time
Mm.
it took for us to get from 2 million to 10 million was a lot less, right? And it just shows
Mm.
you that at every point in time, it's why you're making that more money is because it's getting harder. It's
Mm.
Mm.
getting harder. And at some point, you would not be able to figure it out anymore.
Mm.
Okay. And so
Mm.
you actually need direction. It's like someone that is doing a relay race. They give you the button. If you're not careful, you don't have no direction. You could actually turn your back and start running, with all your all force, like every kind of speed. And then you reach there, you've run the 100 meter, and then you're wondering, where's my award? you're not getting your award because you had no guidance. Nobody
Mm.
told you this is the direction to go. This is where you should face your head, your this is where you should face, and this is where you should run. And that's it for me. If I didn't have you, I don't think I would have the kind of direction and purpose that I have today. That's what it is for me.
Wow. Yes. Michael, what's your advice for
Okay.
people who don't have mentorship, business mentorship?
Oh, okay, sir. So for me, my advice, I'll just give you a little analogy. Having a mentorship will save you time for trial and error. That time you'll be using to do, oh, let me try and see if it works, and let
Mm-hmm.
me not try if it will not work. It will save you time. So one of the reasons once you have a mentor, it will save you time. The time you achieve your goal will be faster. Okay, between this is just 3 months into the mentorship. The first month, you gave us a strategy, sales started coming in. That was solved. The second month, you gave us another strategy to boost our income. So instead of me, I had so many ideas I wanted to try. In short, I have a million ideas I was thinking of. I have the vision board in my office. So if we try this one, it doesn't work. Try this one, it doesn't work. At some point, I'm still doing the training. At some point, I was depending on train over 500 marketers, and that would be the problem. I was doing training. I was paying so much for that training, and to my greatest surprise, I did that for 3 months. It didn't work. I changed
Mm-hmm.
my strategy to another thing, did it for 3 months, it didn't work. One thing I noticed is I was wasting my time and I was wasting my resources, unlike having someone who has seen it all
Yeah.
before you. The time you'll be using to do trial and error, you won't have to do trial and error. You are working on proven techniques, proven ideas. You will not do so much
Mm-hmm.
trial and error. So it will save them time and it will give them direction.
100%. Mm-hmm.
Yes, it will give them direction. So I think mentorship is something that no one, even though you are starting today, don't start a business without mentorship, because that the resources you have, the time it will take you to do that trial and error. If you had a mentor from day one, you'd have gone ahead with that mentorship. So my advice for everyone that doesn't have a mentor is they should run and go and get a mentor. And if it's possible, get Dr. Stevens mentorship, because for me right now, this is the only mentorship that I've seen that has worked for me. So I would advise anyone that is looking for a mentor to connect with you, sir. So I'm not saying it because I am your mentor. I'm saying it because
Your
I've seen
husband.
the impact in my life. So
Mm-hmm.
that is my advice for anyone looking if they should get a mentor, sir.
You didn't tell them I'm not cheap. So my advice would be, hey, if you can't afford me, two places I will send you to. YouTube. My YouTube has over 3,000 videos for free, including these ones. And there's a
Mm-hmm.
lot,
Yes, sir.
when if you go over this video, there's a lot to learn, even from what the two of them have shared, that you could even start executing your business. So go to the YouTube, it's free. Subscribe, Dr. S. Akintayo on YouTube. It's really going to help you. My second advice is Amazon on my website. Go to amazon.com. I've written over 40 books. Buy the books, start reading them. Look for some things you can execute, some things you can do. And I promise you it's really, really going to be helpful. But if you then want the one-on-one mentorship, it's not cheap. And it's not even for everyone. You have to have, your business must be doing $1 million for me to accept you. The only people I take at $100,000 turnover are those that I'm offering those mentorship for free, maybe because I'm doing my birthday or the company is doing anniversary, like the two of them got it on my birthday this year. So
Thank you,
I go
sir.
lower for them, and I take people who are at least doing 100,000, yearly turnover. But typically, I love taking people whose business already doing between 500,000 to $1 million, and they are only the ones that can only afford the $25,000 anyway for the annual mentorship, and it's an annual fee, so people are able to break it down, and pay some quarterly, some monthly, and all of that. But you have at least tasted the pudding. Do you think what I teach and the sessions is worth $25,000. This thing is just an hype. It's just a con. It's just a way to just deceive people and take advantage of poor people, poor Nigerians, like some people call it.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Well, to be fair, can poor people or poor Nigerians afford $25,000? Of course
Let me
not.
ask them. Oh.
So anything, to be honest, anything, somebody who holds your hand and give you personal guidance, to be honest, you can't get that anywhere else. And like, you can't get it from anywhere. It's very personal. I'm happy that we are not doing group sessions and then, you just design a lesson and you're just telling us, okay, so, for your business, you must have to do this, general knowledge and general ideas. I'm happy that it is actually you looking at my own high prep, and you're telling me what would take me to the next level. And I do not think that any amount would be sufficient to pay for that amount of personalized guidance. And I mean, to be honest, it's either you get the mentorship or Michael mentioned, you continue to pay and waste these resources on, things that never leads you to anywhere. So it's like you're wasting your time, you're wasting your money, and it's not even leading to anywhere, right? I'd rather pay and get the direction and get the guidance, and I know that it's leading me to somewhere. And what is $25,000 again? Um, of course, in our context, it is something, but what I mean by that is in terms of the business that I'm building,
Yeah.
$25,000 is really small for the kind of business that I'm building.
Mm. So, in one word, it is worth it. Somebody paying
Overly,
$25,000.
overly,
Sir,
overly.
if there's a word behind what it, that's what I'll use, because this is like a doctor treating you personally. This is
Mm-hmm,
not general knowledge.
mm-hmm,
I see this mentorship like me sitting in front of you, sir, like
mm-hmm,
directly in front of you. Beyond the mentorship, access also, like that access that, oh, I know this person. This person is impacting my life is also an added advantage. So it's more than what it's, if there's a word like that. So anyone that has this 25,000,
mm-hmm,
$25,000, sorry, sir, $25,000, if you can afford it, please go for the mentorship session. One thing I assure the person is you make the money. You
mm-hmm.
definitely make the money
Love
if you
that.
listen to what
And apply.
our mentor says. You definitely make that money and even more than that money. Thank you, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful. Michael, by the way, tell us about your company's handle. Do you want to spell your company's name and the social media handle?
Okay, sir. Our company is Eminence Global Property,
EMINEN
EMINCE. Then
Eminence
Global Properties.
Properties.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to type it? Because I'm not sure the handles is coming out. Maybe
Okay, sir.
it
Let me
has
type.
some hyphens. The way some of you type your company handle. I love
Yes,
high
sir.
prep because high prep is just one word.
One word, sir.
Some of you use, I'm not sure it's one word though, Michael.
So
I'm
Eminence
sure
Global
there is
Properties is
hyphen somewhere. Because some of you, the CEO, are not the one who created the handle, so you won't know. I'm
like
sure
one
yours
word.
has an hyphen somewhere.
No, sir. It's one word, sir.
Are you sure?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I because it's not coming up. Let me check it. And
He
I
has
must,
pinned it. I think he has pinned it. It's there now.
when he's
And
typed it, his type it doesn't mean that's the right
oh, okay.
um handle. So eminence.
Global then properties. It's one word.
You two can check it. Has it come up from your end? Okay, yes, it's one word. Okay,
Yes, sir.
thank God. It's one word. So yeah, so guys, is you have his business handle as well. I posted Adam Amazon earlier,
Mm-hmm.
and feel free to reach out to them if you think you need their services. And I can assure you, based on what they are learning from me, they're gradually improving their business, and you will get value for your money. And so I'm proud of the two of you. I mean, the last 2 to 3 months I've been working with you. The growth is impressive.
Thank you,
I'm
sir.
happy
Yeah.
about what you've been doing with your business. I look forward to a day we're going to have a record that your business has done 1 billion naira in turnover,
Oh,
and then
wait.
Amen.
and then 10,
Amen.
and then 10 billion in turnover,
We
and then
can't wait.
100
Yes, sir.
billion, and
In
then
turnover.
present in different countries,
Amen. Mm-hmm.
you know.
Amen.
And that's my joy. I tell people that at some point your goal should not just be about growing your personal business or making more money. Your joy has to be replicating yourself in other people and see
Mm-hmm.
other people succeed, have that joy, have that success.
Mm-hmm.
That has to be the mindset. And so I'm going to be making you guys collaborators in this video so that it will appear on your pages as well, and you can share the link
Awesome.
with your
Mm-hmm.
Thank you
friends.
so much,
Um,
sir.
you're welcome.
Awesome. Thank you
You're
so much,
welcome.
Dr. Stephen.
Any final words before we go?
Entrepreneurs are not scammers. There are genuine entrepreneurs like myself, like Michael, like Dr. Stephen. I mean, I think the only way to know that there are genuine entrepreneurs is to become an entrepreneur yourself. See the work that goes on behind doors. And I think you would have genuine respect for the guys that are grinding. And being an entrepreneur in Nigeria, in Africa, is even 10x harder.
Yeah,
So yeah, I just think that every entrepreneur that you know, please give them a pat on the back. They are doing something amazing.
that's a
Thank
good
you.
one. I love that word. I love that
Mhm.
word. Yeah, Michael.
Okay, so my final word is entrepreneurship without without a mentor
Direction.
is what word should I use? It's more like you pushing something that a work, but with a mentor, you are speed, there's speed. Entrepreneurship with mentorship guarantees speed. So it takes you
Mm-hmm.
faster. You achieve your goals faster. You achieve your target faster. So for me, you can't separate entrepreneurship with mentorship. Both of them has to go hand in
Hand in
hand
hand.
to achieve success. Thank you, sir.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, people need to know this because some people say, no, the word should be coaching, not mentorship. So coaching means I am pulling out what's on your inside. So when you go
Mm-hmm.
for a coaching session, that's why sometimes they said Nigerians don't like coaching session because the coach, you tell the coach I have headache. The coach will say, so why do you think you have headache? And you be like, what? I
Yes,
need
sir.
to solve the. So the coach will keep asking you, is he or she expect to pull things out of you.
Out of you.
And we face it, yes, I would say situation because of great guys like Larry Olushola who have pushed coaching further. People
Mm-hmm.
now believe, okay, it's okay to pay for coaching, but
Mm.
they think it's not okay to pay for mentorship. Meanwhile,
Mm-hmm.
mentorship, you do more because the mentorship
Yes.
is 50-50. Your
Yes,
mentor
sir.
gives you 50% of the input, you then put in 50%. So it's a mentorship is even way more that is coming into play. So
I
mentorship should
agree.
even be more expensive than coaching because
That's
in
Coaching.
coaching, I'm just
Mm-hmm.
asking you, okay, what do you think? Okay, think about it again. Okay, because I want you to give me the answers in
Mm-hmm.
coaching. But in
yes, sir.
mentorship, I'm meeting you halfway with some of the solutions. And I'm asking
Yes,
you,
sir.
okay, with this I've given you, you to go and execute and figure out the remaining.
Mm-hmm.
So it's important to put that out there because a lot of people don't know that. And so
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
because some people reach out and said, when we had that viral issue, they were like, oh, the word should have been coaching, not mentorship. I'm like, The right word is mentorship. Actually, is
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
sir.
the right word was used. So,
But
uh,
I see coaching like somebody trying to motivate you. You can do this, but mentorship is beyond that 1 minute motivation. It's more
yeah,
like the person is guiding you, more like
yeah,
a parent that is nurturing you into
yeah.
becoming something. Coaching is just the person just spark up that fire. After the fire, what do you do with the fire? You are stopped again, and you need another fire. So I see coaching like just more of a spark up. But mentorship is nurturing, like someone is nurturing you into becoming what
Because it's
you should be.
literally holding you by
Yes,
the
Mm-hmm.
hand.
sir.
Mm.
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much for coming. I appreciate you
Thank
guys.
you, sir.
I'm
Thank
looking
you,
forward
Thank
to
sir.
our
you.
next session. Hoping it's going to be
Absolutely.
great. Love you.